All right, now let's get to this great video about the components of a high converting local business ad. Now, I've really broken this down for you and made it really simple. Okay, a lot of people think that writing AdWords ads is very complicated, and you know what? For a big nationwide campaign, like I told you, my buddy, who these guys sell over $50 million a year, and over 90% of that comes from Google AdWords, right? All different products and all different niches and all different brands that they carry. That's a complicated campaign. But this right here, a local business campaign, is not complicated. So I want you to really follow this, and I've really simplified this for you, but don't be fooled by the fact that it looks so simple. This is what converts. This is what works for local business ads. I did a lot of research on this, about not only what's worked for me, but what's worked for other people. I've done a lot of research on this, so just trust me. This is what works for local business ads. This is my specialty. Focus here is to generate local business clients and get great results for them, and this is exactly how you do it, by following these exact steps right here. Okay, a lot of other very advanced courses will say, oh, you need to sit down and think about who your ideal client is and what's their archetype and what is the avatar, what is your customer avatar, what does he look like, what is he thinking, really think about this, and all this really theory and hypotheses that, of things that you need to really sit down and ponder all this stuff, right? Well, I'm making it really simple for you, okay? Because what I find is that a lot of times these people that try to teach theory, they don't really give any specific instructions. I need to give you something specific that you can go out and use and implement and get results with right now. So, the thing is this, is that for these local business campaigns, there is a certain set of things that if you follow them, you will get high converting ads. Now, you're always going to have to split test multiple ads, different parts of the country get different results. Someone in California, prospects in California might respond differently than prospects in Texas. So, you really have to test multiple ads no matter where you are. And just because I show you something that has worked for me, you still need to test it in your market and see if it works for you. But what I'm going to show you here, if you follow these components and then create a couple of different ads and test a couple of different things, you will find a good converting ad here. So let's go through this real quick. And again, remember, just keep it simple. Don't worry about any other noise out there. Just follow these specific instructions. This is so powerful. I almost feel like I'm oversimplifying it for you because these are such powerful, these techniques that you're about to learn about getting high converting ads here. We already spoke about integrating Google Places and site links and using your display URL, but now let's talk about these specific components of when you're writing your ad, and I'm going to show you some examples as well here. So the first thing is, number one, is that your city name is in the ad. So this is something that if you were managing a Google AdWords campaign for a company that was selling goods and services, like my buddy who they sell over 50 million a year. They sell all over the country. Actually, I think they probably sell in multiple countries. They probably sell in Canada too. So again, this is much different. So these guys, because they're selling in such a broad area, they're not going to have the city name in the ad. But when your ad, since you're only targeting your specific city and you have the city name in the ad, that's going to give you a huge advantage. As a matter of fact, let me tell you a quick story of how I would actually do this. I actually was recently approached by someone who was starting a big startup, and he's still in the process of raising money, and so he had some initial conversations with me, and he wanted to start this thing out in like 10 different cities and then expand to like 30 different cities. And he said, well, what do you think is the best way to go about this? And I said, all right, well, don't reveal this secret to anyone, but I'll tell you, because you're a good friend of mine. We've masterminded together for a long time, so I'll tell you what I would do here. And what I would do is I would actually look at those initial 10 cities that we were going to target, and I would set up separate campaigns for each one of those cities, and I would put the city name in the ad. So I would actually take the time. Most people would just set up one campaign and run it across all 10 of those cities. I would actually break out a different campaign for each city just so that I could put only that city name in the ad. So when someone from Reno is searching, they see the ad that says Reno. When someone from Philadelphia is searching, they see the city name that says Philadelphia in the ad. So that kind of relevance really helps. So I want you to really understand what a huge advantage it is, not only to have the Google Places in the ad, but to actually have the city name in the ad as well. So here's an example, right? And I like to use it in all caps if you can. If you have a city like Vegas or Reno, you can put it in all caps. Vegas IRS attorney or Las Vegas IRS attorney. So test different things. Test one where you have the city name in all caps. Test one where you have the full city name, not in all caps. So city name in the ad is very, very important for local business ads. This is a huge advantage that other people can't do. Number two, and you've heard me speak about this already, so I'll just make this part real brief. Having the free consultation or free quote or free initial visit in the ad, having something for free, or actually if you look at the next one, number three, as we move on, watch this free video. So if they have a free consultation, free quote, free initial visit, or a free video on the landing page, those are all things that you want to mention in the ad. Okay. The third thing is that there needs to be a call to action. It can be as simple as call us. And what's great about this is because you have the Google Places in the ad, you can just say call us and the phone number will be right there at the bottom of your ad. So the phone number's there. If you don't have your Google Places in your ad, right, you would have to have the phone number in your ad, and you would say call us at this number, and you would basically be taking up half a line of space on your ad because you have to put the phone number. The beauty is we have the Google Places integrated in the ad, so our call to action can literally just be call us and the phone number will be right below. Or our call to action can be free consultation, contact us today. That covers number 2 and number 3 in one sentence, right? Free consultation and contact us today gives us something for free and the call to action right here, right? Or like I said, watch this free short sale video is another call to action, right? What's the action you want people to do? You want them to call you want them to call for a free consultation, you want them to watch this free video. There needs to be a call to action, and I typically like to put the call to action on the last line of the ad. So I typically like to have the city name in the headline, and I typically like to have the call to action on the last line of the ad. So, and really, if you look at this, these are the 3 main components, and it's just so simple. I mean, people really overcomplicate this sometimes. This is so simple. Literally, if you have the city name in your ad, and you have the free consultation, and you have the call to action, that's half your ad right there. So really, I mean, you're just plugging in the other half of your ad. This is the main component. And by the way, if you have your Google Places and your site links and you have these 3 components in your ad, I mean, you're 90% of the way there to having a successful ad. It's just testing a few things and plugging in the rest. So let's move on to the rest, to that last 10%. So number 4 is that there should be benefits in the ad. What's in it for your prospect? Why should they call? What are the benefits? And what you might want to do right now is literally, if you have a client or a prospect in mind, or once you land your client and you get into writing these ads, you'll think about, you'll write it down, or you'll even ask your client, what are the biggest benefits that you provide people? What's in it for them? Why should they call? What do you do? Right? So here are some examples of that. You might want to write down, 5 of these benefits and just think about them and test different ads using different benefits. Okay, so for example, here's a huge benefit. You pay us nothing unless we get you a settlement. Right? I think another time I said, we only get paid if you do, or something like that, right? Another benefit is 100% guarantee. Here's a different benefit. We've saved our clients over 20 million, right? 3 convenient Reno locations. Call us. That has a call to action in there too. And this is a benefit too. Again, local businesses, when people are searching in your local area, they might not want to drive all the way across town to the other side of town. So if they have multiple locations, I like to mention that in the ad as well. That's a good benefit. And that's something that would not be a benefit. If you were advertising on a nationwide scale, most PPC managers would never even think to mention their multiple locations if you're doing on a nationwide scale. But because this is local, if they have 3 locations or 2 locations in the same town and convenient for people, that's a great thing to mention. Here's another example of a benefit. Borrow money against your items or just outright sell them for cash. That I used for an actual pawn shop, and that one got great results for a pawn shop. They actually let people borrow money against their items or just outright sell them for cash. I mean, think about that. If you are going to a pawn shop and you want to sell an item, let's say a jewelry or something, or a watch, you might not want to give up that watch. You might, so borrowing money against your items and being able to pay back that money and get your item back, that to me was a huge benefit. So when I heard that, I said, oh, that's a good one. I got to use that. Or just outright sell them for cash, right? So people are looking for cash if they're going to a pawn shop. So I'm saying, borrow money against it. This way I'm hitting the people that if they want to keep their items, or just outright sell it for cash if you want to get the cash. So that's a great benefit there as well. Another one, let's say a debt settlement attorney or something like that. Settle your debt for pennies on the dollar. That's a benefit, right? So these are all benefits. And think about what the benefit is for. It's not difficult to figure this out, right? It's not rocket scientist. What are the benefits that your client is offering people? And they are what they are. They're only as good as what they are. You can try to get creative and hype them up as much as you want, but it it is what it is. So ask them, you know, what differentiates. You might want to ask your client, what differentiates you from your competition? Why are you better? Why should people call you? And so these are, again, some examples of that. So again, really, if you look at these top 4 components, number 1, 2, and 3 are the most important. That's half your ad, and then the other half of your ad is probably a benefit, 1 or 2 benefits in there, and that right there is going to be a great ad that you have, especially with your Google Places and site links in your ad. That right there is enough. So I mean, look how simple that is, and these are going to get you incredible click-through rates. Let me talk about some other things you may want to test. I have here that these are optional because again, I just recommend testing different things. There's a lot of times, there's been multiple times where I thought I was writing, you know, some killer ad. For example, one time I wrote an ad for a chiropractor, and I had the word stop in all caps, like stop your pain now or something like that, and it did horrible. Like people did, and I thought that was going to be a great one, like stop your pain now, but it wasn't. It was awful. It got awful results, but luckily I was split testing 2 other ads at the same time. So I quickly saw that this one was not getting a high click-through rate, and I went in and paused it. So that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to write here, and I suggest when you create a new ad group that you write 3 ads for that ad group initially to test, 3 ads. And what you're going to do is every few days you're going to go in, and I'll talk about this more in the next video about click-through rate and pausing your ads and you know, leaving the winners to go. But essentially you'll come back every few days and you'll check and you'll see which ad, depending on how much traffic you get, you might check it. If you're getting lots of traffic and spending hundreds of dollars a day, you're probably going to check it every day. If you're only spending $50 a day or $100 a day, you know, you can check it every 2 or 3 days. While I'm on that note, actually, I want to mention that you know, don't just, one day is not enough to show what's going on, right? So if you have an ad that you only ran it for 1 day and didn't perform well, that's not enough to determine whether it's a good ad or not. So you need to run ads for at least a couple days, possibly you get different results on different days of the week. For some of my clients, Mondays and typically Mondays seem to be the busiest days for some local businesses like attorneys and chiropractors and things like that, and Fridays and Saturdays tend to be very, very slow. So again, that's why I think I said I recommend starting your campaigns always on a Monday, so you can start out on the right foot as well. So okay, back to the attention grabbers here. Okay, getting back to these attention grabbing headlines here, that these are optional. These are just other things that you can add here in your ad and just test. And then again, remember, you start off with 3 ads, you test them, you go in every couple days, you see which is the lowest performing ad, you can pause the lowest performing one and maybe write a new one. So you're constantly trying to beat your best ad here. So here are some attention grabbers here. For example, having the word alert in all caps and having the date, having like the month and year. So this is cool. I like doing something like this. Like it has like the city name, Reno Mortgage Alert, January 2013. Like if I saw that, if I was in Reno and I was searching for something about mortgages or refinance and I saw this ad, Reno Mortgage Alert, January 2013, that would definitely catch my eye. And I would definitely, you know, look at that and probably click on that. So I think that's cool too. And by the way, it's so easy. Every month you could go in and change this to February 2013, March 2013, right? So you can easily go in and make this like fresh. It seems fresh. People see it. It's like people love breaking news, right? It's like breaking news, this announcement, right? So this is like alert, January 2013. So that's a cool attention grabber one. I like that. I've definitely used this one, alert and the date there. Another thing here, this is one I've used as well. Do not, and having not in all caps, I think I mentioned this in one of the last videos, do not call the IRS before getting your free consultation, right? So that's an attention grabber. Do not call the IRS, right? Someone's searching for IRS settlement or how to settle my IRS debt or whatever they're typing into Google, and they see an ad at the top that says do not call the IRS, that's going to stand out, right? So that's an attention grabber. This is another pretty popular one, the truth about whatever, watch this free video. One thing, again, I think I've mentioned this in earlier videos, do not do anything that's too hypey. Do not say, learn how to make $50,000 in 60 days watch this free video, right? Google does not like hypey, over hypey stuff. And the same thing with weight loss. Google doesn't like things about saying, lose 32 pounds in 3 days, or they don't like stuff that says, real estate investing, for example, how to make $20,000 a month with no money and no credit needed. They do not like that. So this is about as hypey as I would get, saying the truth about something like that, right? And these are local businesses, and we're doing very focused campaigns here. We don't need to get too hypey and too crazy. You can test some crazy things if you want, but typically everything I'm showing you is gonna generate great results for you. So the truth about this, watch this free video. That's another example there. Another optional one is questions, right? Like you can test doing this sometimes. I used to always have question marks at the end. I used to always start with a question when I was doing mostly nationwide campaigns. Before I started doing mostly local businesses like I am now, I would use this quite a bit. Now that I'm doing mostly local businesses, I prefer to have the city name in there, and so I do it a little differently. But this is something you might want to test as well. If you have a good question, like stuck in an upside down house, or this one, like want to avoid bankruptcy. Or want to avoid foreclosure. Like bankruptcy attorneys, a lot of their big pitch for bankruptcy attorneys is want to avoid foreclosure. A lot of people who do debt settlement, their tip is want to avoid bankruptcy, right? So, if there's a question that you can fit in there, that could be a good thing to split test as well, is having questions in your ad. But again, you want to split test 3 different ads, see which one is the top performing, and I'll make this little cheat sheet here available for you as well. And between everything else you're learning in this module as well as this ad, I mean, this is truly, don't be fooled by how simple this is. This is a simple formula that took me years and years and hundreds of thousands of dollars in testing to create. So I'm giving it to you so you can start out now on the right foot, getting great results for your clients from day one. So I hope you can see the power in this and really appreciate this.